And without further ado, I'd like to call upon Martina McCaffrey to come up and talk about sort of plans moving forward. So please show your appreciation for Martina.
Really delighted to be here. I'm from Derry, so please don't hold that against me. I'll try and talk as slow as possible, but I am an original Derry girl. That show that you see on TV, that's a true reflection of Derry in the 80s. If anybody else will see, Kevin, please, away with it. So this is me. I actually feel like a bit of a fraud up here today, and I'll tell you why. Mary Donaghy, could you stand up for me, please? Mary introduced me. Mary introduced me at the back of the room. I heard her saying it as I walked past. This is the new me, and I went, oh my good God, there's no way I can take over the shoes. But it's because of Mary Donaghy that we are in this room today at our third event, and the second one and the first one. So Mary, thank you very much for continuing to fly the flag. And she is continuing to fly the flag for Think Family NI, because she's here today with another organisation. And you'll hear all about that later. But thank you very much, Mary. But this is all to do with Mary. It's not to do with me. But I'm just going to take you through some of the things that we have been doing in Northern Ireland at the minute. But I just want to start with a fact. Peter has touched on it, John has touched on it, but in Northern Ireland we have the highest prevalence, 25% higher prevalence of mental health problems in England. So that's, for me, that's the stark reality. So in terms of our Think Family timeline, look how long we've been going, Mary. Since 2009, so calculate that, I think it's about 12 years, taken out to COVID. We always have to take COVID out because it kind of pauses where we are. But in 2009, we had Think Child, Think Parent, Think Family. And then we had Think Family NI in 2012. 2016, we did some wonderful research by Queen's. And 2018, Queen's recommended the Think Family Consolidation Plan, which I'll touch on in a minute. But also then we had our COVID pause. And now we are here. And we're here today to talk about consolidation, but also to share with the audience all the wonderful work that's happening all over Northern Ireland, all over the UK, and all over other parts of the world. I'm so excited to be able to listen to some of those stories and events today. So in 2018, Queen's provided a key recommendation that the board, which I used to work for, we're now called Strategic Planning Performance Group, and working for the Department of Health. So the board then to develop a Think Family NI strategy and consider how this would be taken forward as part of the transition arrangements for embedding Think Family. And that's now called the Think Family Consolidation Plan. You may have seen a copy of it, you may not, but after today you'll see lots of it. So in that plan there was 8 recommendations, and it was about driving Think Family locally, to continue to embed and develop Think Family, to continuously improve and future plan the core and critical work that Think Family was doing in Northern Ireland. And we're going to hear, I'm not going to go over all of that, because we're going to hear lots of highlights today about that, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, because it's not mine to steal. It's for theirs to offer. So we're going to hear more about it from our speakers. So there are 8 recommendations. So the first one was about workforce. So what are we doing? Well, we have Think Family practitioners, senior social work practitioners. We have support workers, champions, and we do lots of Think Family training. Rec 2 is about the teaching of family-focused practice. And we are doing some of that at undergrad, postgrad and post-registration level. So we have promotion of Think Family at Queen's undergrad social work training, endorsed at approved social work postgrad and reapproval training, post-registration promotion at employment-based training. But there's more to be done to recategorise mandatory training. All of our training at the minute is voluntary. So if there's anybody here locally, nationally or internationally, that has it as a mandatory option, please come and speak to us. And we also believe that this is a priority for the Think Family group as we go forward. There's still a way to go in relation to this. We want a workforce in adult mental health, and children's services that has the knowledge and skills and capacity to deliver family-focused practice. So we have training programmes delivered across all trusts on a regular basis. I'd like to see more of them, but we do appreciate that people are very busy doing their day job. But like safeguarding, I believe family-focused practice is everybody's business. And we always need more capacity in this area, absolutely. Promoting family-friendly visiting on inpatient wards was a key recommendation. COVID has probably paused that a bit, but there are some pilots going on in some trusts. And again, we believe this is a priority for us going forward, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Our infrastructure should be flexible to meet the needs of parents who have mental health issues. Sorry, I've lost a TH there. Apologies about that. And their families in terms of more home-based visits. So, again, pause due to COVID and all of the things around IPC. And again, we believe this is a priority going forward. Rec 6 was about planning, performance and accountability. And I believe this is an area where we are doing great work, although you don't see it. But one of my responsibilities as a social care lead within SPPG is to review and comment and make recommendations on serious adverse incidents. And we are starting to see a lot of family-focused practice mentioned in serious adverse incidents, which is absolutely fantastic, because we weren't seeing that. We were seeing a lot of sometimes poor practice, but we're actually seeing the development and the use of the family-focused practice concept and model within those now, which is, and when one comes across my desk and I see it, I get super excited as the Think Family Leads lead. So that's great to see, and those happen on a regular basis. We also have Think Family in our as a concept and a principle in our delegated directed statutory functions, which is, as all trusts in the room will know, is our way of ensuring that trusts are meeting the statutory functions in the delivery of social work and social care practice. So again, it is there, it is a standard, and we see evidence of it in practice, which is fabulous. And also, and for me, this is really exciting, but this is where I am the fraud, but the Think Family Leads group, which I chair at the minute, is made up of representation from all trusts and voluntary and community sector, and we provide oversight role in terms of all of the Think Family practice, and we are hoping to push on and develop that and make it stronger. It does have a decent voice at the minute, but we need to widen the net and widen the scope. Rec 7 is about procurement and contracts, all that horrible word that we all don't like to hear, but I think there's still a way to go in relation to this, but those are things that we can do in the background. And Rec 8, and for me this is an absolutely critical part of our work. And if anybody has read the new mental health strategy, 2021-31, you will know that one of the key principles within that strategy is about ensuring and improving the partnership arrangements that we have with our voluntary and community and non-statutory sector. And that is key. That is key to the delivery of good mental health services and people or substance use services as well. And within our leads group, we have a number of agencies, which I've mentioned in the above. But we need to widen the net, and the more the merrier. It's a very open group. So if there's anybody in the room who believes that their organisation should be a part of that group, please come and speak to myself or Anne or any of the other organising committee, because it's really important that we push on that. So where are we going in the future? I love planning, that's the title, but I think the consolidation plan, we need to refine, we need to improve, we need to expand it, and we need to put it in the context. It was written in 2018, so we're now 2022, and we're living in a very different world, so we just need to probably revisit that. But the mental health strategy has this quote in it, which I think is really important. It's really poignant, and I think it sets us up for the day, which is, despite the improvements we've seen in mental health services in recent years and the positive experiences of many people accessing support, there does remain much to be done to achieve real, meaningful and lasting change for all. I don't think any of us would argue with that. You will hear about fabulous work going on today, But we don't stop, we don't stand still, we keep moving forward, and this group will be one of those that will do that. There's also a principle, and there's only about 8 or 9 principles in the strategy, but this one is in it, which is fabulous. And I know Mary and I at the time pushed to ensure that the strategy, when it was being written, and I'm only focusing on the mental health strategy, it is mentioned in others, but it was important that family-focused practice was identified as a key principle within the strategy, because it's the way we do our business. So in the strategy, it has a principle 2, which is person-centred care and a whole-life approach, a system that meets the needs of the person and their family and support network. Absolutely key, rather than expecting the person to fit into a rigid system. Again, I don't think there's any of us that will disagree with that statement. Meet the needs of the person and their family and support network. So remember those words today. And I wanted to, John did mention at the start that you will hear stories today about people's personal experience. As a teenager growing up in Derry in the 70s and 80s, I was one of these people. So I'm a child. I'm now a young adult, a very young adult, of 2 parents with serious substance misuse, and I will say misuse, not use, substance misuse issues. I wish I had a social worker who would have come into my school when I was a young person in Derry and talked to me about this, because this would have changed my life. I think it's absolutely critical that family-focused interventions does a lot to change people's lives, and I think family social work practitioner would definitely have made all the difference for me as I was growing up. You just battled on and you dealt with it, and you thought, well, this is my life. But we didn't have this. So whilst we do have training that goes on, it's really, really important that we keep pushing upstream. So it's not just at undergrad level, it's not just at post-reg level, it's not just out in our workplaces. We have to be pushing upstream, and prevention and early intervention is absolutely key. But I think our family practitioners need to be moving into schools. So and obviously that's a serious resource issue. But family-focused practice would have absolutely made my life so much different. Even for somebody to be aware of it, to acknowledge it. Because, I mean, if I was standing here now as a 15-year-old girl or a 14-year-old girl, and a social worker or a support worker had come into my school, and we had a chat about, family life and the way it's supposed to be, you would have seen it written all over my face that I was one of those people that would have had to put their hand up. But anyway, this is my quote: "Adversity always hides a gift." I became a social worker. I don't know why, but I became a social worker. And I think it's because of the adversity that I faced as a young person. I have huge integrity. I have huge empathy. My husband might say otherwise. My kids might say otherwise. But, and that happened because of what happened in my childhood. And we're probably going to hear lots of those stories today. And I'm sure there are people in the audience that have experienced the exact same thing as I experienced. But it gives you gifts, it gives you challenges, it gives you opportunities. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and it's a piece of advice, is never say no. Always say yes. Always say yes to opportunities. Always say yes to risks. Don't say, I can't do that. Don't say, that's not for me. Don't say, I don't think so. Put your hand up. I put my hand up for everything. It's probably why I'm standing up here today. But I didn't put my hand up for Think Family. Mary Donaghy just passed it over to me when she retired and said, Martina, this is for you now. But what a mantle to hold. It's so poignant for me that this, and I was always going to, in fact, if she hadn't said it to me, I would have went, Mary, can I have that? Can I take that portfolio? I probably would have taken it anyway. So thanks very much, Mary. I do appreciate that. So that's me, folks. So have a good day.